Miranda here. The drill you just saw me shoot is one of my favorites. I've started shooting this drill with reactive targets from Challenge Targets because I found that the type of targets that fall over as opposed to just standing still help you to really focus when you're shooting on getting your shots, but more than that, on chasing that target to the ground. The two targets that I'm using are the immediate targets up front here are 6-inch plates, AR-500, pistol rated. And they all have a polymer faceplate over them that acts as a capture medium because I am shooting the steel closer than I really should be. So I want to make sure that nothing has any chance of coming back at me. The next plate up is an IPSC A-zone target. This one's 3/8. It's also AR-500, but this one's rifle rated. These are set anywhere from 5 feet in front of me to about 5 yards in front of me, and those down there are anywhere from 15 to 25 yards away, which is why I'm able to shoot them with full power rifle ammunition, not frangible, and without hurting them. I bought these targets several years ago, and they've absorbed a lot of rounds, and the camera can't really pick it up, but they just have very tiny pockmarks on the face. These are brand new, and they're absorbing the rounds just fine. There's nothing denting these. I shoot 9mm, and 9mm is pretty quick. One of the reasons that I really like shooting steel is that it helps me truly focus on what I'm practicing. By shooting reactive steel, I'm able to do what we've all been told in the training environment, which is chase your target to the ground. But the problem is, the people that are teaching you that are usually having you shoot paper. One of the biggest reasons that I've gotten away from shooting paper targets is that once I went to the Rogers range and understood that within 300 milliseconds of hitting a steel target and seeing the bullet vaporizing and hearing that ding, your brain records a new neural pathway and labels it success, I transitioned everything over to steel on my range. And then in recent years, I started to transition over to reactive targets, because what I found was, in the environment of training as a police officer, as I used to be, and now as an instructor, you know, we're always telling people, shoot that target to the ground, follow that threat to the ground. But the problem with that mentality is, many of the instructors teaching that are teaching on paper. So the student has to imagine, and you'll see it all the time, they'll shoot, 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 and then all of a sudden they'll do that. Well, what are you really imagining? You're not actually seeing that target fall over. You're not actually able to track this target to the ground. And you'll notice on the lead-in video that some of the shots that I took, I didn't track the target to the ground. In fact, that far right target stood on its feet for quite some time and I had to hammer it several times. I chose to leave that in because it's a great teaching moment. I realized when I started shooting steel that I had so much freedom in what I was able to do, that I transitioned everything over to reactive steel of the following kind. All my other targets are actually put away, and this is all that I ever use out here. I have two shooters side by side shooting reactive steel, and they're being forced to either trash talk one another, say the ABCs, or sing Mary Had a Little Lamb. You'd be amazed how fast their hit ratios drops. And the other reason that I have these plastic targets in front, and you can almost see it on the camera, there's the 2x4. There's the target plate, and I have a black circle within the confines of that target plate. I've got about a 4-inch circle inside of a 6-inch plate, and the reason for this is I want people to focus. I want you not to aim at the head, I want you to aim at the tip of the nose. If you miss the nose, you hit the head. Aim small, miss small. Same thing with the rifle. I've got a good sized target here, but what do I give my shooter? Only about a 4-inch target zone painted in white. I got one there, I was slightly out, but because I was aiming small, I missed small, and I still hit this target and it was able to fall over. That's all I needed. I used to think that these targets were all I needed until I got these targets, and I realized, how in the world did I live my life without these targets? And I'll tell you the plus between these and these. I do a lot more pistol work than I do rifle work, because pistol is the weapon that I'm more likely to have with me than my rifle. So I focus a lot more on pistol. These targets are very light. And what I really like about him is, once you knock the target over, to stand it up, all you have to do is come over to the base, stomp it, and the target swings up. You hold your hand up, the target hits it, you stand it, and you move to the next one. That makes for resetting time that is very fast on the shooter. And the other reason that I like the reactive target is, to reface it, all I have to do is repaint this area black, and off we go. And eventually, when this wears out, I put a new one on. The reason that I like the reactive targets is, when they fall over, it forces me to stop. That is to say that once I have shot all of my targets and all the targets are on the ground, nobody has to tell me to stop shooting. Just like in real life, if you have multiple threats and you drop everybody, well, guess what? Now you get to stop. And once you stop, you can do tactical reload. You can do whatever your post-engagement drill is because all your targets are on the ground. But the nice thing is you got to actually follow them to the ground, do your post-engagement drill, and in some cases you can actually move right through the area. If you're doing a moving drill, you can move right through the area where the target was previously standing. And people, in the training environment, we tell people, shoot the threat to the ground and move right through the target. Well, you can't do that with paper, and you can't do that with static steel, but you can certainly do that with reactive steel. And when the bases fall over to the ground, it forces you to pay attention to step over that base, just like you would have to step over the feet of the person you just dropped, or the backpack that they had, or the weapon that they had. It forces you to pay attention to everything that's on its feet and everything that's off of its feet. And once it's all done and you've knocked everything over, you're able to clear your world, do whatever you got to do, holster your weapon, and then you go through and you slowly pick up all your targets. What you're doing in that short period of time that you're picking up targets is you're actually going over an after-action drill on yourself. If you've got a range buddy, it's even better because now you'll spend a few minutes talking, picking up your targets, reloading your mags, setting back up, coming back out here and doing it again. Or if you find that the drill doesn't suit your needs, these targets are extremely light. It's a matter of picking up a target, putting it somewhere else, setting it down, reshooting the drill, as opposed to some of the target plates that I have are two-man. They're actually tagged as team lift targets. They're in the excess of 200 plus pounds. These things are, this is the heaviest target I have, and it's only about 7 pounds. The benefits of shooting reactive steel are almost incalculable. The amount of ways that you can set up these targets is also almost incalculable. If you guys are interested in more information, take a look at challengetargets.com. And as always, God bless you all. Get those guns out in practice. Have a good one.